Hey, and welcome to the Sit Down with Suzanne podcast. I am your girl, Suzanne, also known as Positively Suzanne. Now, remember, this podcast was created with us in mind. It is a reminder that not only are we worthy, but we deserve the best versions of ourselves. So grab a cup of tea or your beverage of choice and sit back and relax and join me on this journey. I cannot believe that this is the first episode of season 4 of Sit Down with Suzanne. Guys, I know I took a minute, but I'm so excited to be back. I'm so excited about this first episode, and I'm so excited to be going through the season with y'all because I have a lot for you guys. And thank you to all my loyal listeners that reached out and asked me, listen, when are you going to drop season 4? So season 4 is here. This is not like Riri with the album, okay? And I know I just compared myself to Riri, but listen, we're both from the Caribbean, so you know what I'm saying. But I had a lot going on. If you follow me on social media, and if you're not following me, why aren't you? I'm Positively Suzanne on Instagram. But, the full launch of the brand Positively Suzanne, there was just so much going on with the merchandising, vendor events, speaking engagement, coaching clients, mortgage loan office. I mean, there was so much I was doing, and I appreciate it, and I love every single aspect of it. I started a show on YouTube, which is live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. It's on season 1 break now. Season 2 will be back in the fall. But you guys know I love my podcast, and this is one of my babies. And I am back for season 4. So throughout the season, you'll hear a lot about me, what's going on in my life, what I'm doing. We'll have some special guests and all that. But for now, let's just dive right in to the very first episode. So y'all know I'm going to talk about something that is true to me, and it's about authenticity. I looked up the word authentic, and it means of undisputed origin, genuine. And I feel like every couple of years, though, we go through a trend where a word is the word of the month or the word of the year, or actually sometimes a word even gets a couple of years, right? And authentic seems to be the word that's having its moment in the sun. But I think that sadly the word is both overused and misused. And in a culture where authenticity is something that everyone is claiming and it's something that, they want to celebrate, oftentimes you are celebrated more when you are like somebody else. And when you show up as your authentic self, people will try to tell you who to be. So wait a minute, right? You are telling me I'm showing up as myself, and you're telling me I'm either too much or too little, but you want to celebrate my authenticity. Child, please. Oh, dear confused one. Please take several seats down, okay? I personally don't know how to be anyone else but me. And 100%, I don't want to be anyone else. And you shouldn't want to be anyone else either, because God created us all uniquely. And yeah, there are things that we all should be working on to get to the absolute best versions of ourselves. And that's okay. But who you are in the moment, that's who you are. That's your true, authentic self. You're going to grow, you're going to evolve, you're going to gain new things, but it doesn't take away from the true essence of you. Okay. So picture this, Sicily, 1945. Okay, I'm just messing with y'all. And for those of you, I know I kind of just told my age there, right? But for those of you who did not get that, and if you didn't get that, I don't know who you are, but if you didn't get that, that is from one of my favorites, Golden Girls, and that's a nod to none other than Dorothy's mother. Okay, Miss Sophia, like she started, most of her things, and like I think almost every episode. Picture this, Sicily, and then she just drops a year. So, oh my goodness, it's sad. Like all the leads from the Golden Girls are no longer with us, but it's a funny show, and every time I come across an episode, I tune in because I do love it. So, anyway, back to me in real life, not 1945, but in 2023, and even a few years before. So I walk into a room, right? I'm towering over 6 feet because your girl has heels on. I am over 6 foot Black woman in these heels. I got fabulous hair and a definitely have colorful clothes, and folks want me to blend in. There is no blending in, okay? And honestly, I don't want to, and you shouldn't want to blend in. And I think that, when you walk into a room, and this is something that I've had conversations with folks about, when you walk into a room as fully, authentically confidently you, the right people will gravitate towards you because they will sense your energy and they will sense your confidence and they will be drawn to you. I'm going to be real with you though. There's going to be some folks that's going to dislike you, and that's okay. And there's some folks that's going to be intimidated by you. And you know what? That's not on you. That's on them. Like if I walk into a room, or even if another woman walks into a room and she's confident, I'm a give her a compliment. But if she has something that I aspire to be, I'm going to be inspired by her. I'm not going to be intimidated by her. I'm not going to try to be like her, but I'm going to learn. And if, I will reach over there and ask her. And there's some women who will pay it forward and some won't, but I will always give another woman her compliment. So when you walk into that room as fully authentically you, there will be dislike, there will be hate, there will be shade, there will be intimidation. But the true people that sees you, they will not be intimidated. They will come over to you. They will give you a compliment. They will talk to you. For me personally, true confidence is not walking in thinking that you're better than anyone else. Because I don't walk in thinking I'm better than anyone else, like truthfully. Like I don't compare. I walk into a room and I know that I'm enough. Who I am is enough. I'm not too little. I'm not too much. I'm not better than anyone. I'm just simply me. And that is enough. No need for comparison. My authenticity has cost me relationships. And I know this because I think sometimes people like the idea of me more than the actual me, because sometimes they think they could pull one over on me. And when they realize that they can't pull one over, then they pull back. They try to like change the narrative. They try to say, well, she's too much. And, I don't know any other way to be. It has cost me jobs, I'm pretty sure, because I think sometimes, jobs want somebody who's going to be moldable, somebody who blends in, who's not going to challenge the status quo. And, it's funny sometimes, when you are interviewing for a job and you have to talk to who's going to be your direct supervisor. And personally, when you're interviewing for a job, I think, the position that you're interviewing for, like you should be thinking of the next position also. But sometimes there's that jealousy thing that goes in, like the person who's interviewing you, if they're going to be your boss, they're like, this person is not going to come in here and outshine me. So authenticity can sometimes cost you. But you know what? For me, I think the greater threat to your mental health if you're not truly authentically you. So that's why I'm going to be me, and I'm always going to be 100%. People will say they accept you, but they just want to tweak you a little. Listen, you're not an outfit. No, don't allow people to tweak you, because this is the thing. If you change one thing for someone, you're going to have to change for somebody else. And personally, I can't. I'm not going to change who I am to fit in. I'm not going to change who I am for somebody to like me. Because if I keep changing who I am so that everybody will like me, I won't recognize who I am. And as the great MJ said, and if y'all have to ask me who MJ is, look it up. I am looking at the man in the mirror. That's what he said. And trust me, when I look in the mirror, I want to recognize myself. So I will not be changing depending on the season, the weather, the person, or the role. Recently I went to an event and I ran into this gentleman and he just kept commenting like, oh, you're so tall. Like, oh, your hair is so much. And, it was he just kept saying it over and over. And I was just like, thank you so much for the compliment. And, walked away. And I truly knew that he didn't know what to do with me or how to handle me. And I don't think it was a compliment that he was giving me. But listen, your girl was not in the mood to educate anybody that day. I was not going to show anyone the light. I'm just like, thank you so much for the compliment, and walk away, because if I have to explain who I am to everybody I meet, it's all right. And like I knew that that person just was not for me, because they just kept like pointing things out, like, okay, like what am I going to do about my height? What am I going to do about this? And yeah, but isn't that funny though, that he thought that he had the right to comment on me? like comment on the things. And I try to stay in a positive, you know, mood all the time. And I did not point out anything or any flaw. I was just like, Lord, I thank you. I'm grateful. Thank you so much for the compliment and walk away. So, it is what it is. Sometimes you stay and you correct, but sometimes you just move on because of my authenticity, because of my full commitment to being who I am at all times. I have had relationships that have shifted and changed because of it. Who they wanted was a version of me who suited them. They wanted someone that honestly, that made it easy for them to take advantage of me. So, this is my advice to you: be very wary of those that are trying to change you. And so let's be real for a minute. I'm not talking about loved ones that are trying to, help you if you have a problem, like deal with your problem. So let's not play those games, right? I am talking about if someone wants to change you to a version that is more palatable to them, something that is easier for them to accept. Listen, they want me to be beige, but I am hot pink, baby, and I am not going to be beige for anybody. And if anyone sees my authentic self and decide that I am too much, it's okay. I'm genuinely not mad. Gladly move on. If you think I'm too little, well, I'm still not mad. I'm just going to move on. If your authentic self is too much or too little for someone, that person is not for you. And if somebody wants to change who you are, if you say to somebody, this is who I am, and they want you to change who you are before they can accept you, run, baby, run. And I mean that wholeheartedly. Run. Life is exhausting enough without having the people around you trying to get you to be someone else. And I know that there are times it would be beneficial for me to change who I am to fit in. And the God's honest truth is, I don't want to do it. It's exhausted. Being a Black woman in this country, I have had just so many situations come at me. And now that I fully and truly know who I am not changing for nothing or no one. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to grow. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to evolve. Doesn't mean that I'm not going to learn. Doesn't mean I don't accept corrections. But changing who I am essentially, fundamentally, authentically is a big no-no for me. So it's too much. And that is TEW, too much. So if you know, you know. If you don't know, then look it up. But I will not be changing who I am for somebody else to feel comfortable. I am not too much. I am not too little. I'm enough. You either accept me or you don't. Just don't try to change me. Don't say you accept me and then try to change me. That is not love, my dears. That is manipulation. I remember several times throughout my career that I know that blending in would have benefited me more. I know that not speaking up for myself or somebody else would have benefited me more. But you die a silent death if you see injustice happening either to you or someone else and you don't speak up. I cannot do it. Several times also throughout my career, I was told like things that people don't even think about, but they just think it's okay to say. I remember being on a corporate visit and, being told by my manager that my earrings were too sparkly. Now, these people were coming from a corporate visit and, I had earrings in and, they had a little sparkle to it. I mean, I wasn't in even my bling bling phase yet. And I was told that my earrings were too sparkly. They were distracting. I mean, that is so code for speak about it, Suzanne. Speak about it. That is code for you're too Black. Okay. Yes, I happen to be the only Black person in the managerial role in that position. But yeah, I was told that my earrings were too sparkly and they weren't even big earrings. I was told once I interviewed for a job and I was told I didn't get the job because I wore pink instead of black, and you wear black to interviews. And I was just like, my God. And the day of the interview, I didn't intentionally or deliberately, I had black on, but I wanted a touch of pink to it. But, apparently that, it was just too bright. I should have worn black. Oh, Lord. But I've always had a very strong sense of self. And these little arrows to me, these little arrows to my authentic self would have destroyed me if I did not have a strong sense of self. So listen to me. I am so mindful of what I say to others, including myself. You know, I speak words of affirmations into myself. I speak word of affirmations into others. I speak word of love into myself. I speak word of love into others because words have power. I truly believe that. Life and death is in the power of the tongue, okay? So I am so mindful of what I said to myself. And, going through and working in these spaces and having these things like people just say it so casually, you know, it can destroy you. So spend time with you, spend time building you, okay? One of the things people often say to me is like, I love your energy. And, I say thank you because I truly just show up as me. And if I'm somewhere and I'm not being me, it's time for me to leave because something deeper is going on. So I say thank you to compliments. And I truly appreciate compliments. When I get them, I say thank you. But I also know how to compliment myself. And while the compliments of others are great and I love it and I thank you, so don't stop complimenting me. But for me, those are little gifts, right? But compliment myself because I don't want to start relying on the compliments of others, which will in turn to me waiting on validation from others in order for me to move or to feel good about myself. So I spend time complimenting me. I spend time validating me. I spend time talking to me, pouring into me, nourishing me, because this truly, fully authentic me, I love me. I made the decision years ago. Oh Lord, y'all know I love to sing. And listen, I'm not going to do Whitney Houston any justice here, but she was like, what did she say? I decided long ago. All right. Never to walk in anyone's shadow. All right, all right, all right. So clearly I'm not Whitney, but y'all know what I'm saying, right? I made that decision years ago to show up as me wherever I go. And I'm so grateful for that because I don't take it lightly because I know that not everybody has that opportunity to show up as themselves. And I know that it has cost me to miss a couple of opportunities because I get it. People think I'm a lot. I mean, I don't, but sometimes people think that I'm a lot. And I know that if I try to blend in and if I'm a little less me, it will be more palatable and more acceptable to people. But you know what? This is what I think. If it was meant to for me, it would be for me. And if I had to be somebody else to get it, it wasn't mine in the first place. And I'm not talking being abrasive and I'm not talking being, outrageous or outlandish because I don't think I'm those things. I am me. I lead with love. I lead with kindness. I lead with faith. And if you can't accept that, like I can't help you. It's not my job to make you love and accept me when you know who I am. So I'm out here living my best life. And I love to see people out there living their best lives and living as the truest versions of themselves. And if you tell me that's your truest version, I'm going to believe you that is your truest version. And I'm not going to ask you to change. I also know this. It is not an easy decision for many people to show up as themselves because they're riddled with uncertainty and, self-confidence issues, showing up into spaces as themselves. Because when you enter a space, there's so many people there. And sometimes you have like, who am I going to be today? And that's tough. And I get it. And I know. But hear me out, darlings. If you have to enter a space and you have to be somebody else to please everyone else, you're not going to be pleasing you. You're going to be unhappy. And if you continue to do it all the time, you're going to forget who you are. So I'm going to urge you, I'm going to encourage you, get back to you. Figure out who you are and start showing up as you. It doesn't mean you can't grow. It doesn't mean you can't evolve. It simply means you are done pretending to be somebody else. You have to like who you are. You have to love who you are. I love people and I love being around people. I truly do. I'm an extrovert. I mean, that's not a secret, right? But I also love me and I love spending time with me. And I throw tea parties for myself, by myself, with myself, and I have a great time. I love spending time with myself. So spend time with yourself. Spend time loving on yourself. I'm not talking about conceited love. I'm talking about self love. Love being with yourself. And I also love being around people that love being with me, people that love me for who I am and don't try to change me. And if that means that I'm saying goodbye to some people, that's okay. I've said goodbye to many people because truthfully, they couldn't handle me. And I'm okay with that. If I'm too much for you, then I'm too much for you. That's straight up how it is. I'm okay with that. I love authentic relationships, relationships where I don't have to pretend to be anyone else. And truthfully, I'm not going to pretend to be anybody else. So if you're going to come at me and try to do that, you're out. But I love relationships where people don't have to pretend to be someone else. It's so much easier to be you. I wake up every day grateful and thankful that I'm able to walk fully and authentically into who I am. And I pray that those around me, that the space that I inhabit, the atmosphere, the energy that I give off allows people to be their authentic self around me, that they don't feel like they have to be somebody else to be around me. It's funny, like my best friends, I have two best friends and they're introverts and I'm an extrovert, but we love each other and we accept each other for who we are and what we are. And that's a beautiful thing for me. So if you're around me, I want you to be your fully authentic self. We will not agree on the same things all the time. And that's okay. Genuinely don't want that. I like a spirited debater. Oh my goodness, I love it. I was on the debate team as a child. I love it. I love there's different points, different opinions. So we won't always agree. And that's okay. But as long as we're operating from a place of love and acceptance, I'm good. So if you know me, then you know who I am because there is nothing else I'm going to pretend to be. And hopefully, you are who you are when you're around me because I won't ask you to change. And if you who you are is not who I want to be around, because y'all, listen, there's some shady negative people out there. I'm gonna tell you right now, if that's your authentic self, it's okay, do you boo, but you won't be around me because I don't do negativity. I don't do shade. I don't do people who are constantly putting other people down. I don't do people who want to see people's downfall and gossip and all of that. I don't have time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that. I'm out here living my best authentic life. So if you know me and you're around me, be your authentic self, okay? Because one thing is guaranteed, Suzanne will be her authentic self. And I get it. I know I just referred to myself in the third person. That's okay. Y'all gonna forgive me because it's the first episode. I promise you, this is not a new affectation that will be happening throughout the season. But I am just so blessed and so grateful that every single day I get to get up and I get to be me authentically, fully, and I get to enter spaces and I no longer, well, I won't say no longer because I honestly can't remember the last time. I don't really get embarrassed about being me. It's not, I don't at all. And, even if something happened and I look foolish, I'm okay laughing at myself. I'm okay. Like, even if I fall flat on the floor, and actually, I've done that. I fell flat once running and I cracked up, and I was in pain, and then I got up. So I'm not giving you permission because that is not my job, but it's okay to be you. It is okay to love you. And it's okay to walk away from those who don't accept you and love you for who you are. Because I know that I'm grateful for who I am and I will inhabit every single space as 100% authentically me. And I hope the same for you. So as we journey through this season together, you'll get more and more of what's happening in my life. This will always remain true. Suzanne, again with the third person, will always be Suzanne. And I pray that you have the courage to be you 100% of the time. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of the Sit Down with Suzanne podcast, which is available in all major podcasting directories, including Amazon, Apple, Google, Pandora, Spotify, and a plethora of other spaces, including my very own website at www.positivelysuzanne.com. So choose your app and subscribe, listen, like, share, write a review. Do what you got to do, but make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend that this podcast is where it's at. You can also support the podcast by donating to the show at buymeacoffee.com/positively Susie. And until next time, this is Suzanne saying, you, my dear, are worth it.